welcome back for part 3 of the live crochet along for the 10-in-1 animal market bag. Oh, I'm so excited. We had a blast already in part 1 and 2, and now it's time for part 3, which means we're going to add some of the limbs or the faces. At least I'm going to talk you through some of them, and I might even go animal by animal and just talk about it, but there are a few of them where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so there are a few patterns right here that feature a oval shape. Let's say the piggy, for example, has like an oval shaped snout. That one is similar to the Panda Bear, so we're going to do at least a snout together, so that way you know how to do it even if you're making the panda. We're also going to cover the legs, or at least one leg, of the turtle. I'm going to show you how to turn it from that wavy circle into a fortune cookie. At least that's what it looks like in the end. And then I'm also going to talk you through the Ladybug, the line right there, on how I did that. I did it with a tapestry needle. You could do it in crochet. I find it easier because of the way the bag is and the pouches. I found it easier to do it with a tapestry needle, so that way I'm not tangling up my yarn in the bag, because you don't want to connect the two together, right? Otherwise it'll get stuck. I'll talk you through the oval ears. It is not that hard. I might even show you a little piece of it so you can see how to do this. It is really easy. Most of these are extremely easy. Oh, I just noticed that the cow also has an oval shape. I don't know how I missed that, but it's similar to the piggy. So once you understand the piggy, I think the rest of it will be easy peasy. I'll talk you through the wings as well for the bee. I can crochet it too if you need me to, but it's extremely easy. If there's anything you guys have a question about, you will let me know, because here's the thing. Being here live means you get to ask questions and I'll answer them live right here on camera, which is super duper cool. Am I right? I mean, how often can you do that, right? So during like live crochet alongs, like, have you ever been part of a live crochet along? I have this feeling most of the crochet alongs out there are pre-recorded, if you get a video at all. I have seen many crochet alongs that don't even include videos. Many. My mystery crochet alongs include pre-recorded videos because I'm prone to not keeping secrets. So if I do it pre-recorded, I can cut out the parts where I by accident say the secret. So that's the reason why the mystery crochet alongs are pre-recorded. But I have a few times a year live crochet alongs, and live crochet alongs means you already know what we're making and we go through it together, and I'm really excited. You guys all like my hair? Thank you. That takes forever to make. Oh my gosh. I wished I had natural hair like this, but no, I used an iron for that in case anyone's curious. But I love it. It looks pretty. It just takes forever. It takes an hour to do. Anyways, I thought I'll make it pretty for y'all, you know, finale, the part 3, make it look pretty. Anyways, okay, so let's talk about our sponsor really quickly. Okay, so Hirschner's provided me with this yarn, so they're the sponsor of this live crochet along. They provided me with Supreme worsted yarn, and it is a 100% anti-pilling yarn, and you get 169 yards per 100 grams. I love this yarn. As I said, it's a worsted yarn, so it's a number 4. It is really soft. It's easy to use. It's a little shiny, which got me worried in the beginning, but again, I told you before, it is not a big deal. It is nothing like Karen Simply Soft. It is so much better and extremely affordable, actually, which I was surprised with. Plus, Hirschner's ships extremely fast, so if you ever thought about getting something quickly, they ship very fast. So just want to let you know about that. Okay, so let me remind you really quickly about our giveaway part, because I know some of you guys seem to be missing that part of it. So make sure you understand this. So let's talk about it, okay? So we have 12 winners in the end, and they will be announced tomorrow at the party. I'll talk about the party later on again, just to give you a rundown so you know exactly what's happening, and you probably want to make sure you're attending to that one, okay? So first of of all, you need to be sure that you signed up for this live crochet along. Full name and email address. It is free to sign up. All you have to do is, go to this link up here. You can scan it too. I put it in a description, into the comments. It's everywhere. So just make sure you do it and hop over there and sign up. I'll grab 3 winners from that. A pool that's signed up. Again, I need your full name. If there is no full name, I can't pick you. I literally have to skim you and go to the next person. I do random draw. So what I do is I go through my entire pool. I click a random page. I click a random name, and that's the one that's going to win. Okay. There's no specific pre-selection. You don't have to make a purchase or anything. I do want to point out, when you are signing up for free, it will redirect you to a special deal of the PDF. You are not required to buy the PDF, but it is an option for you. Some of you guys read a little too fast. Guys and girls, please slow down. I have seen this. We're in a fast-paced movement, right? I know we're skimming things. Okay, sometimes you gotta slow down a bit, okay? Just for a little bit. Remember, it's crochet. We want to be slow. We want to take your time and enjoy it, right? Same is true when you sign up for something. Make sure you take your time, okay? So anyways, the PDF is optional, but you can purchase it if you wish. Now, let's go to the next part. I'll go into the comments in just a second. I know there's a few comments I want to point out. I'll get into a second. I just want to finish this here. Okay, so you also need to watch all 3 videos. This is part 3. There were already 2 parts, so I sure hope that you watch those and you answered the question. So when I write down add that one comment, it's referring to the question at the very end, okay? I have a question at the very end, and I'm going to look for those answers. So you need to do it for all 3 videos, whether it's during the live or during the replay. I don't care. As long as you leave the answer as a comment below the YouTube video that you are answering. So there's 3 videos, very easy. Go watch it, and we always have fun there. So even as a replay, you're going to feel like you're part of this huge fun community, which it is, okay? So anyways, and so you're just going to answer that at the very end, and you're good to go. So do that for all 3, and I'm going to pull 3 winners from that. I literally will copy your username on YouTube. So again, I don't know where you live or whatever, as long as you do it for all 3 videos, you have a chance to win something there. I literally will look and search through it to make sure you all do it for all 3 videos. Okay, so anyways, then the next part is finish at least one of these really fun animal bags. Just finish it. I don't care when you finish it, as long as you finish it before the deadline and you post it into the Facebook group called Crocheting with Nikki on Facebook, and you use that hashtag right there, LiveCalAUG, for August 25, and you post it into that Facebook group. And I might not be able to comment right now or like a post or something. Facebook's being weird with me because I did too many of them. Oops. Yeah, it put me on a limitation of 48 hours, so I can't do it right now. But that's okay. Don't worry. I'll still see it. No worries about that. And I celebrate you behind the scenes. I'm going to do a little dancey dance. Just pretend whenever you're posting, I'll do a dancey dance. Okay, anyways, I will pull 3 winners from that, okay? And then we have the last chance, which is the party. All you got to do is join us, be there live, and I will have 3 more questions there live right there. So you can't win if you show up for the replay for this. So just know you have to be there live in order to have a chance to win any of those 3 prizes. Okay, so there'll be 12 in the end. Okay, we got it? Are there any questions about the giveaway? Should be easy peasy, am I right? Okay, so let's see. Will you see my comment? Let's see. Okay, Ray says, will you see my comment, my answer if my comment is long enough for read more? That's fine. That's fine. I always read everything. I tap read more, believe it or not. I'm a person that will slow down. This is your hint for you to slow down too, okay? I will slow down and read, because if I don't read correctly, I can't answer you correctly. So yes, please slow down and read, and I do the same, and then we're good to go. Yes. Even if you have a long comment, I will read it. This is funny. Look what you made me do. I'm starting my second bag. We'll do them all. Let's go. Vicky, I can't wait to see them. Awesome. I'm so happy. Okay, let's see. Someone said happy anniversary. Who was that? There were several of you guys, okay? Happy anniversary for those who are here on the 2nd year for TCC. If anyone has questions about TCC, we're going to talk about that tomorrow in a lot of detail. It's called the Crochet Club, so no worry about that. Okay, so was there something else? Was there another comment I may have missed or a question? I'm just looking back. Oh, Deborah, thank you for asking me about the deadline. Yes, very good question. Please do the first 3 tabs, okay, by the deadline. Here's the deadline. August 4th, which is tomorrow, okay, August 4th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Google's free. Please use it to do your time calculation, okay? If you're in the US, you should know how to calculate between the 4 or 5 different time zones, okay? Please, I don't know the Hawaiian one, but I do know the one on the continent. So please know how to calculate it. So 10 a.m. Pacific time, August 4th, 2025 is the deadline for the first 3, okay? Literally, as soon as the deadline hits, I will go in and grab the winner. So that's kind of how this works, okay? That is the deadline. Okay, let's see. Was there another question I may have missed? I'm gonna go up. I feel like there was another question and I can't find it. All right. Okay, I think there's a question about the piggy snout, and I will get to that anyways because I'm going to teach you the piggy snout anyways. So don't worry about that. If there was a question about the piggy snout, I will get to it later when we actually talk about it. I'm going to start with the turtle. Okay, so let's swoop around so you can see what I see. And that is this. Okay, so we're going to talk about the turtle first. Linda, did you have a question too? I feel like I saw Linda having a question. Let's see. Linda, if you had a question, can you repeat it, please? I feel like I missed it somewhere. I'll just wait for Linda to re-say the question. Okay. So here, let's talk about the turtle legs for a second. Anyone who I didn't answer right now, just put the question in the comments one more time. That way I can show it off. I like to show off your guys' questions. That's easier for everyone to understand. But anyways, in the meantime, I will be talking about the turtle leg. Okay, so the turtle leg, first of all, it is not a circle, as you can tell. It's some kind of wavy business. Okay, so here's the thing. What you need to do is you're going to start the same way as we did with the bag. The only difference is you're not doing 6 single crochets in a ring. You're doing 9 single crochets in a ring. Then you're going to increase as you have done before. And once you're finished with this circle that looks like this, some wavy business, you're going to fold it in half like so, and then you're going to slip stitch. Okay. Oh, Maxine has a question. Let's see. Maxine says, I'm not sure where to sew the turtle head on. Okay, I'll show it. Thank you, Maxine. I'll let you know. Okay, so what you're going to do, let's talk about the legs first, okay? So this is how you're going to do. So once you have your circle done for the turtle legs, okay, this is obviously one of them, you're going to fold it in half, and you're now going to slip stitch over what I wrote down, the touching stitches. So when you fold things in half, you have touching stitches. Do you see that right there? I may make this a hint brighter, even though that's already very bright, but who knows? Sometimes you can't see it. Okay, so whether you're going through all the loops or not is up to you. It's a look, okay? You could literally just go through the back loop of this one and then the touching loop over here, which if you turn around is also the back loop, right? So back loop and back loop if you wanted to. If not, just go through all loops, right? It really doesn't matter. The idea is that you're slip stitching them together like so. Okay, so you literally go from one side to the other and you slip stitch them together. Is that clear? I want to make sure that that is clear. And I will show you guys my turtle in a second so you know exactly how to sew them on and where to sew them on. I know that can be a little bit like, oh, I don't know where to do that. I kind of added a picture to kind of show you where I added it, but it's totally understandable if you have a hard time. So anyway, so you're just going to go through and slip stitch this together. You are not stuffing this or anything. And when you're done, it looks like a fortune cookie. Okay, you're making obviously 4 of them, and then you're going to sew it on with the head. Okay, so let's see. Okay. I will get to Ray in a second. She's talking about the frogs, so I'll get to that in a second. Naughty, I just say Nana. Nana, speaking of the turtle, did you rewrite that one portion of R4 stitch to use the front loop of R4? And then, which part is that? What are you talking about? The body. Yes, I did go back. I was like, what are you talking about? I'm confused right now. No, I got it now, Nina. Yes, I did. I did go in and fix the pattern. I did at the R4. I even did the same for R11. So yes, what we were talking about in part 2, Nana, yes, I did go back and fix that. So if you purchased the PDF, re-download it. If you are using the free version, just refresh the screen and you should see it. If you're in TCC, same is true. Refresh the screen and you should be good to go. Okay, so I think I'm good on this. So let's talk about the turtle and where I sewed it on. So here's my turtle. Hello. Okay, so what I did on the head is I try to separate it out. Now that may be hard to see here because it's a dark color, the brown is. So I kind of took the first half of the head and sewed it out closer to this little extension right here, not directly on it, like right underneath it. And then this part down here I sewed on a little lower, so that way that the head doesn't bobble. If you sew them really close together, then it's going to bobble back and forth. Like I'm squeezing it right now to show you. So what I did is I sewed this one closer to the top and then this one closer to the bottom. That way it's a little bit more stable. Now the legs I did add right underneath that extension. So let's say this is R11. That's where I added it. Okay, I added the legs to R11 all the way around. Okay, and then the head, let's say R11, and I don't know if this is, let's see, which part is this one? I think this is where the connection is happening. So where the slip stitches are, just like underneath it. You know, the invisible slip stitches we did in part 2? That's where I added these bottom part of the head. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so that's how I added them, and I literally just, for the legs, I just did it all the way around. That should be good, right? Are we good on the turtle? Should be good. And the head is very straightforward. It's pretty much a circle, and then you extending it out in just single crochet stitches, right? And then you do a little bit of a decrease here at the back, and then stuff it. Well, add the eyes first, stuff it, and sew it on, and you're good to go, and the turtle is done. Okay, so that's the part of the turtle. So now I want to show you really quickly the line part of it. Actually, yes, I'm going to do the line part first for the ladybug. Okay, so this is obviously going to be my piggy. So what I'm going to do right now, and I recommend for the ladybug, you're going to do it on this side. It's really up to you. Oh, that was a question I got, what was it, yesterday or the day before? There was a question, where do I add the face? On the front or the back, right? Meaning, is it the first circle or is it a second circle? Okay, so there was some questions about it. Now, once you turn it around, right, meaning you're using the bag, the turtle or any animal is going to be on the inside of that pouch, right? So does it matter which circle you're picking? No, it doesn't. So here's what I like to do. I prefer, if possible, to add it to this circle. So if you call this a sandwich, right? You have here one circle, you have here one circle, and then the bag. Pretend that's a sandwich. I use the center one, okay? Meaning this side, this circle, which is circle 1. Now that I'm looking at it, I can see it's circle 1. That's where I prefer it, unless it's the turtle. For the turtle, I did it on circle 2. But again, it doesn't matter in the end. I prefer circle 1, but you can do circle 2. It doesn't matter, okay? So I'm just going to do it for the ladybug, though. I'm going to do it for circle, let's see, which circle is this one? I don't even know. This is circle 2. I'm using for the ladybug circle 2 right now, okay? So what I'm doing right now, I'm just going to let the bag hang out a little bit. That way I have room. So pretend this is the ladybug, okay? Pretend this is the ladybug. Let's see. Will you open the... No, actually I won't. I'll tell you why. I did not add the bags to all of them, okay? I did not. Do you want to know a little trick? A designer trick? I'll show you. Okay, designer trick is to make the entire pattern. I'm going to zoom out just for a second and show you. Okay, I'll show you a secret. This is what some designers do, and I'm going to reveal it. Actually, I believe I did the same thing for the fruit, okay? I did the entire animal. I just did not do the bag. I stuffed it so that it looks like I added a bag into it, but I didn't. The only one I did was the Ladybug, which is probably why you notice it, that I show it all the time. Well, now I also have the piggy, but you know, time-wise, it was not reasonable for me to add all the bags for all the animals, because you guys need the animal part of it, and you need to know how to do the body of the bag, and I already did that one, so I knew how to do it. Okay, so anyways, there's nothing in the inside. So there you go, a little designer trick on the side. Keep it a secret though. Okay, so anyways, let me show you now how to do the line for the Ladybug. Okay, so again, I'm doing this here. I'll rip it back out. I just want to show you how to do this part. Okay, so pretend this is the Ladybug. Pretend this is, which color is this? I think it's black, right? Pretend this is black on the red Ladybug. So here's how you do this. Okay, so you're going to insert, and you can see that I have my bag hanging out because it's easier. That way I'm not attaching my yarn to the bag, because you don't want to sew that together, right? So you want to kind of hold tight here, right? Hold tight on your yarn. You can, you know, make a knot somewhere, but I like to just, you know, hold tight on it for the first stitch, so that way it's not moving or anything. Stacy says the secret is out of the bag. Yes! Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Maxie says he's hollow like a chocolate Easter bunny. Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me show you how to make the line. Don't get me sidetracked, you guys. My brain will go into funny business. Okay, so here's what you do. So you make a circle like this, okay? In the beginning, I do it at least. Now, I'm going to go back into the same spot where I came from, but I'm going to come out a little bit further away. Now, how far, it doesn't matter, like how big you want your chain to be. So did you just see what I did? I came out, I made a little circle like that, or like a little loop. I go into the same stitch I came from, and then I move over a little bit. Now I'm going over that loop, okay? So, and that way, when I then pull, it makes my chain, okay? So let's do this again. So I'm making a circle, well, oval, whatever. Go back into the same spot you came from, okay? It doesn't mean it matters the same one. I prefer the same one. And then move over a little bit. Make sure your needle goes over that loop that you made. Not underneath. It'll disappear then. Over. Okay? And remember, this is just a little bit further away. You see that little tiny bit of a distance? And then all you have to do is pull like so. And you make a chain. Let me zoom in just a bit. Do-do-do. It looks like a lazy daisy stitch. Yes, it is. It kind of looks like it, but it's technically not. It's called the chain stitch. But yeah, so I'm going to do this here one more time so you can see something. Okay, Lona says, I suggest the Ladybug strips and dogs get added before they are joined. It would be nice to know which row. Yeah, you can join it before, but again, you can see I do it after. It doesn't really matter. As long as you're not attaching it to your actual bag, it's fine. It's not that hard, as you can see. It's very easy, actually. So you just go make your loop, and then you go around, and then you pull, and ta-da! Technically, you can do the same thing with surface crochet, but again, in surface crochet, you have to make sure that somehow the yarn goes from the back there, and that's hard to do. And then here you also have a nice line. Now, you could do the same thing the other way around. If you don't want to have these ones shown, but you want this shown, you can also do that. You know, you can turn it the other way around if you wanted to. You know, you make it from the other side. Or what you can also do is just make a running stitch. You know, it really doesn't matter. But this is technically called the chain stitch. If you ever look it up in embroidery, this is technically called the chain stitch. Although very similar to the lazy daisy stitch. The lazy daisy is more made for flowers, but it's technically done the same way. Okay, not exactly the same way actually, because for the lazy daisy, what I would do is I would go right behind here and do it, but here I'm not doing that. I'm making a loop first and going back in. So technically it's not exactly made the same way. Okay, are there any questions on that chain stitch? Are there any questions? Otherwise, I'll move forward on that part, and we go to the snout of the piggy. Are we good on this part right here? Let me know in the comments. I want to make sure we're good, and then we can move on, okay? This is the chain stitch. Again, you make that straight. Mine is not straight. You can see that there's a little bit of a, you know, slant happening and it's not exactly straight, but you make it straight, obviously. Okay, I just wanted to show you how to do it. So I'm going to move this to the side since I don't see any comments coming in about that, and let's do the snout part together. So remember, for the snout part, you want to make sure that you understand this part even if you're not making the piggy, because the cow and the, what was the other one? Let me check real quick. The Panda Bear, they both have kind of an oval shape at some parts of their body or their head, and I want to make sure you understand how to do this. Okay, so we're going to follow the pattern to a T. Okay, so let me show you. There are a few different ways to get started. You can make a chain of 4, start from the second chain from the hook, and then go around it. I'm going to show you a different version of how to get started. The only time I use this trick is for ovals, because that way it doesn't make these gigantic gaps. So pay attention for a second. You're going to take your yarn, you're going to go over a little bit so you have a yarn end. Okay, you want a little bit of a longer yarn end here. You're going to make a slip knot, and you're going to identify which yarn is which. This is your yarn end. This is your running yarn. This is coming from your skein, your ball, whatever you're using. Okay, so yarn end and running yarn. Got it? Now, once you have your slip knot on your hook, okay, like so, you're going to put your thumb on that slip knot so it doesn't move. Otherwise, it's going to do a spinny business, and you don't want that. Okay, so put your thumb on it. You're going to wrap your yarn end front to back around your hook, hold tight on it like so, yarn over and pull through. Okay, that's your first stitch right there. Now we're going to do this again. I like to put my thumb on it, then yarn over, pretty much. This is really yarn over. It's from front to back. You wrap it around, and then with the running yarn, yarn over, pull through. This is your second stitch. Let's do it again, because I believe we have 3. Yes, we have 3. So front to back, yarn over, pull through. Okay, now if you don't want to do that, you can make a chain of 4 and start from the second chain from the hook after that. Either way, doesn't matter. I personally think this will make the gaps in the center of your oval less obvious. That's why I'm doing this. Okay, Gloria has a question. Do you do any decreases on the ladybug head to close up before sewing it on? I'm pretty sure whatever I wrote in a pattern. Let me see. Before I keep going, I need to look real quick what I wrote for the ladybug. I don't think we do a decrease on that part. Let me see. Where is my ladybug? Hang on. I gotta look for a second in my pattern. Nope, there's no decrease. So I didn't do a decrease. You could make a decrease, but I didn't. Okay. Is that the same as an I-cord? Yes. I do want to point out, Sherry, there are different types of I-cords. This is one of the versions, okay? And that's the one I'm using right here. It is not really the chainless foundation chain, though. I do want to point that out. It is a foundation chain, yes, but not the chainless foundation chain that a lot of people use, like the single crochet version. That's not what this is. It's too skinny for that, okay? But I like to use this. Janice says, how do we get the turtle update? You don't have any ads wait, no ads. Janice, does that mean you have the PDF? Just re-download it, girl. Re-download it. You're good to go. Okay. If you are using the free version, just refresh. Okay. So, now once we have our 3 stitches, okay, so let's count them together. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da! Now we're going to go, let me look at my pattern, and we're going to crochet 3 single crochet stitches in the first stitch, then 1 single crochet, and then we do this 2 more times. And that's where people got confused. They're like, Nikki, what in the world? Well, we're actually crocheting around it, okay? So let me show you, okay? So I'm actually going in the very first stitch. I'm not skipping that one, okay? Right there, I'm going right into it. We're going to crochet 3 single crochets into it. This may be a little bit, finicky. Am I saying this right? I don't know. It's a little bit wiggly, but once you get into it, it's fine. So in the first stitch, we're going to crochet 3 single crochet stitches, okay? That's one little circular part of the oval, if that makes sense. Now we're going into the next stitch, and we're going to crochet 1 single crochet right here, okay? 1 single crochet stitch. Now in the next stitch, we're going to crochet again 3 single crochet stitch. So this is the other, let's call it the other half of the oval, okay? That's the other round part of the oval. So you're going into that stitch, and you're going to crochet 3 single crochet stitches. There we go. Now you were like, where am I going to put the other one? We ended it over here. No, we didn't. We're going in rounds. So what we're doing actually is that center one where I added 1 single crochet stitch. We're going to use it again one more time down here. Okay, that is probably where some of you guys got confused because you're going in rounds. Okay, so let me pull this out again so you can kind of see this. Hang on. So we had 3 stitches. First stitch was 3 single crochet stitches added. I know this is hard to see with all the stitches cramped up. Okay, 3 single crochet stitches here, 1 here, and then 3 over here. Now we're going around it and going back to the one where there's 1 single crochet stitch. We're doing 1 more into that. Okay, so it's kind of like parallel to it, if you want to call it that way. So that now completes the first round. Okay, I know it doesn't look complete, but it is. I'm going in continuous rounds, but you can do non-continuous rounds if you like. Okay, I'm adding my stitch marker right here into it. You know that's my yarn end. Okay, so now we're going into the next round. So the next round says 3 single crochet stitches. Feel like there, oh no, hang on. 3 single crochet increases. I read the same round twice. Sorry. 3 single crochet increases, then 1 single crochet stitch, and then we do this again. Okay, so we're going to go into each of those 3 single crochet stitches. So you kind of have to look where they are. So there is 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So we're going to go into those. So that'd be a little bit hard to see sometimes, but here is one of them. Okay, so I'm going to go into that and I'm going to crochet an increase here. There is an increase right here. Hang on. Let me see if I did this right here. Oh, no, I did not go in the right spot. Nikki, you did not go in the right spot. Let's do this again. Over here is my first stitch. All right. So in each of the 3 single crochet stitches from the previous round, you're going to go into each of those 3 and you're going to crochet an increase on top. I know this is super hard to see. Okay, so just listen to what I'm saying and try to do it at the same time during the replay. But I feel like once you get into 2 rounds in, it's actually very straightforward. Okay, so again, what I did just now is I went through each of those 3 single crochet stitches and made an increase into it. Then you have that 1 single crochet here in that center. You make 1 on top of it. And then you repeat this process here one more time. I get to your question in just a second. Okay, so then again, we have those 3 single crochet stitches on the other side. Again, we're making 3 increases into that. So here's an increase, here's another increase, and a third increase. Feel free to use stitch markers here, but this is really tiny and it can be hard to do with stitch markers. Anyways, and then we have 1 more single crochet stitch left. You go into that. Do you see the oval appearing? Do you see it? Okay, so let's go into the comments here for a second. I see some no's here, so let me see. Is that the same? Is this the, Sherry says, is this the same as an I-cord? I think I already answered that part. Let's see. Kelly says, Nikki, are you doing the update? Going to do up, let's see, say this again. I can't read. Are you going to update the pattern with the YouTube links for the live cal? I don't need to because it's already in the pattern. So Kelly, you're on in TCC, I know that. So you should have the links directly in there as well. That should be there. If there's not, I will double check, but I'm pretty sure I added them into it. I will double check. But yes, the links should be there already. They're definitely in the free pattern. They're definitely in the PDF. I will check on TCC. Let's see. Can you put the link to the I-cord machine that you use? I can, not right now though. You can email me about it. I didn't use it for this. The I-cord machine is not necessary for this, Michelle. But if you want the link, I'm happy to send it to you. Email me about it. Okay, so let's see. Maxine says it's in the treasure chest pattern. Yes, you can look there too. Let's see. It would be helpful to have the total amount of stitches noted in a row. You know what? Yes, you're right. However, I taught you in part 1 how to calculate it. Okay, let's do this again, Darlene, because I actually want you to learn this. Maybe this was a purpose on my end for you to learn to count the stitches without needing a designer to do this. Because here's the thing, sometimes designers make a mistake and that's okay. So here's how you calculate it for yourself, okay? So let's read it together. Okay, let's just go through this round here together and you know exactly how many stitches you have. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so the pattern wrote for R2, it says single crochet increase 3 times. So one single crochet increase has 2 stitches, okay? So if you do 3 increases, that's 6 stitches right there. Then it says 1 single crochet, okay? So that is the 7th stitch. The entire thing I just said, you do 2 times. So 7 times 2 is 14. Ta-da! You know the amount of stitches you should have, and you can count this easily, okay? Let's go into the next round. Let's read this together so you know how to calculate that as well. It says 1 single crochet, then an increase, and you do this 3 times. So whatever's in that first parenthesis, that is 3 stitches. 3 times 3 is 9. Then you have that 1 additional stitch, that is 10. And now the entire thing you do 2 times. 10 times 2 is 20. Are we good? Are we good in learning how to add up your stitches? You can do this on your own. Yes, I should be going in and writing it down, but on the other hand, you should know how to do that too. This is not me complaining, okay, or me being lazy. I actually want you to learn that, okay, because there's so many patterns out there that never teach you how to count your stitches. And if that is my job to do, I'm happy to do that for you, okay? So please, do you know how to count your stitches now? Please let me know. Okay, so I think I answered that question now. All right, let's do this actually together one more time. Okay, let's do what I just said. We're going to do one more round together. This should be easy peasy, and then from there it should be good. Okay, so round 3 says 1 single crochet stitch. First, I'm going to move up my stitch marker. Okay, so 1 single crochet stitch, and then it says an increase. Okay, that means 2 single crochet stitches. Whoopsie daisy. 2 single crochet stitches right there. Okay, so that is 3 right now. Now we're going to do this 2 more times so that way we have 9 in the end. Okay, so 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochet stitches, then again 1 and 2. So you should now just have done 9 stitches right there because you guys can do the math, right? Then we have that 1 single crochet stitch in that center part between those 2 half circles. And then we're going to repeat what we just did. So 1 single crochet stitch, then 2 single crochet stitches, then 1, then 2, if I can do it. And then 1, and then 2, and then believe it or not, there's 1 more stitch left over right there, and that makes the in total amount 20 stitches for this round. Are we good? So this is an oval right here. Now the Panda Bear is very similar to this. The cow is very similar to this. So I just want you to understand how to make an oval, and this is just, I mean, this is a small oval. You can make it bigger, of course, right? But are there any questions about how to make an oval now? Is this clear? Let me know. Looks like everyone's saying yes in terms of knowing how to add up your stitches. That's a good thing. We all want to know how to do that. In fact, whether it's a written pattern or whether you do it right there, you can add your stitches as you go too, right? And you just add them up so you know exactly to do it right. So even if I add the number in the end, if you make a mistake, you still have to go back and count your stitches directly, right? So it's always good to write and look at the actual written pattern versus the number at the end, because some designers make a mistake even at that, right? It's okay. We do mistakes. We're human after all. But anyways, I wanted to show you how to figure out the amount of stitches you have per round, because no matter what, if you have something wrong, you know how to fix it now, right? Really cool. All right, you guys say clear, crystal clear. I love it. Okay, so let me look at the pattern real quick, because there was one more thing I want to teach you. Oh yeah, we wanted to go, no, it's 2 more things. I wanted to go over the bee wings real quick. So I'm going to move this to the side. I'm going to use my lighter yarn for the bee wings. Where's my yarn end? Here we go. I'm just going to use a little little lighter yarn. Not white, of course, even though the wings are white, but a little lighter is fine, right? Okay, so let's go over the bee wings for a second. Oh, I have it in front of me. Okay, so that way we're all good on the bee wings, and then we're going to cover the owl's hair because I feel like some of you guys may have trouble with that, but no worries, I will show you how to do that, okay? So we're going to get started with a magic ring, just like I've shown you in round 1. Magic ring, then pull your yarn through, adjust, and put that little ring finger in there, right? So you have that tension right there. I make a chain of 1 to hold my magic ring in place. It does not count as a stitch, okay? So now you're going to make an alternative turning chain because it says specifically before the pattern gets started, all first double crochet stitches are made as an ATC, alternative turning chain. So let me remind you again how to do that. You're going to start with a single crochet stitch, then you're going to insert your hook into the loop that's closest to your yarn finger, pull up another loop, you have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through. That's a stacked single crochet stitch, also known as the alternative turning chain, and in this case it counts as a double crochet stitch. Now you're going to add, let's see, 3 more double crochet stitches. So here's 1, 2, and 3. You're going to close up your ring, even though it doesn't say, I believe, and you're going to turn your work, okay, like so. Now we're going to do 1 double crochet stitch and then 1 increase, and you do this 2 times, obviously, because we have 4 stitches right here. So as I said before, the very first double crochet stitch is done as an alternative turning chain. So start with a single, insert your hook into the loop that's closest to your yarn finger, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through. That's your alternative turning chain, okay? Now into the next stitch, you're going to crochet an increase using double crochet stitches. So there we go, 2 double crochet stitches. Now let's repeat that. 1 double and then 2 doubles in the very last stitch right here, which is on top of that alternative turning chain in the previous row. And I'm splitting here some yarn, not on purpose. Here we go. Now we're adding 2 doubles into that, and we're going to turn our work, okay? Let's see, how many more rows? There's 2 more rows. Let's do this together so you can see how it looks like finished, okay? And then I'm also going to show you all the animals that are kind of behind me so you know exactly how they all look up close. So if there's any questions about how to sew something on, you guys can ask me, okay? So let's do this again. Alternative turning chain, which counts as a double crochet stitch. Then we have another double in the next stitch, and then we have an increase after that, and then we repeat. So we have 1 double in 2 stitches, so 1 and 2, and then we have 2 doubles in the very last stitch. All right, are there any questions so far regarding the bee wings? I have 1 more row to go on the bee wings. Okay, so Nana says the ATC. I love that you've shown the I can't read today. Nikki, love that you've shown that ATC. That's been the coolest thing for me to learn. Thank you, Nana. At least I can read it the second time around. I have a knot on my tongue today. All right, there we go. We got some bloopers. Should we do the blooper sound? Boop. Okay, so this is going to be my blooper sound now. Okay, doing another ATC right there, and then we have 3 doubles after that, so that way we have 4 in a row. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we should have an increase. So is it 4 in a row or 3 in a row? Hang on a second. 1, 2, 3. No, it was 3 in a row. What did I just say? 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3, and then it's an increase. I knew there was something off. Okay, then let's do it again. 3 double crochets in a row, so 1 per stitch, and then an increase at the very end right there. Do you guys like my blooper sound? Should I keep that blooper sound or should I find another one? Oh my gosh, I just happen to have it. It's actually called the Glockenspiel. It's a German word. It's called like a bell sound or bell play, technically, if you could translate it. Anyways, so this is how the bee looks like. So here's what I did in the end. I made a slip knot, obviously, right? Then I pulled this yarn through. I wove it neatly down here, very neatly, and then I sewed it on. Okay, so that's what I did. This is one of the wings. Obviously, you make a second wing, and obviously you make it in white. Okay, so I'm gonna show you. Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about, and that is this thing right here. Okay, if you guys need me to crochet it too, I'm happy to, but I feel like it's super duper easy. It's very similar to a circle with one less stitch, really. Okay, so let's talk about this. Is our pig ear. Okay, the piggy ear. So let's talk about the piggy ear. Do I have it in front of me? I just want to make sure. Yes, I do have it in front of me. The piggy ear starts with a magic ring, and then you add, after the chain of 1, which doesn't count as a stitch, you add 5 single crochet stitches to the ring. Not 6, it's 5. Then you're going to do, instead of doing increase all the way around, you skip that part because you want to have that nice shape, right? You don't want a circle, you want this nice shape. So you means in the second round, you're going to start with 1 single crochet, then an increase, then you do that one more time, and in the last of the 5 stitches, you do another increase. Now, the way I wrote it down is I said, put a stitch marker on the second stitch of all the increases. There's 3 of them right there, right? Now, I don't do that because I will literally look where my increases are. And no matter what, every time I hit my increase, I add an increase on top. You see that? So you can mark your increases, or you know that you need to increase on top of an increase. It is the second single crochet of the increase. There's 2 stitches in an increase, right? The second one. So 1, 2. The second one is the one where you're going on top of and creating another increase. You're doing this in 10 rounds in total, like until you reach 10 rounds. And then you have the very last round. It's just 1 single crochet stitch per stitch. Is there a question about the piggy ears? It's very straightforward. It's pretty much like a circle, but 1 less stitch and 1 specific round skipped, but otherwise it's very straightforward. Do you need me to show you how to get started on this? It is not hard, I promise you. But if there's anyone who has a question, you guys let me know. It should be very straightforward, right? If there's a question, you're here and you tell me, right? Okay, hopefully you're here. So now, while you guys think about that, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do it on the same bag as this one. I'm going to show you how to do the ears, okay? You guys said clear and got it. I love hearing that. Okay, I'm going to show you with this darker pink yarn. I'm going to show you how to do the ears for the owl. Now, I'm going to attach it here, even though this is a piggy, but pretend this is the owl, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to make your yarn like this. How much you want to do, it's up to you. How many inches did I write down? I'm pretty sure I wrote like 3 or 4 inches or something for the owl. Where's my owl? Did I write down how many inches? I didn't write down the inches because it really doesn't matter. You can make them as big or little as you like, okay? So let's say this, okay? And then you're going to fold it in half a few more times. I think until I had like 6 strands, I believe. Don't quote me on a number right now. I don't have it in front of me. But let's say it's 6 strands like this, okay? Then you're going to snip it. They're all the same length, as you can see. Snip it like this. I left it like this for now. You can snip it after, okay? Sean or Jean, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Don't quote me, okay? Don't be mad at me if I say it wrong, okay? Is this the same as the kitty ears? Very similar. I don't think it's the exact same pattern. It's a little shorter for the kitty cat, but it's very similar. Let me look at it for a second. Yes, very similar, but not the same. So the the kitty cat one has 6 single crochet stitches to start with, and then you go out. So it's a little bit different, but very similar. Okay. Hi, Lisa. You finally got it into the chat. I'm so happy you're here. Okay. Whoops. Yeah, I'll show it off, Lisa, for you for a second. Okay. So now once you have this, okay, what you're going to do is you fold it in half like so. okay, you're going to take your hook and you're going to pull it through here somewhere. Where? It's up to you. It depends on where you want your ears to be, okay? So you're going to go through 1 stitch, 2 stitch, 3 stitches. It's up to you. I'm just going to do 1 right now, and you're going to pull that whole shenanigans through. Now you may need to use a bigger hook for this, okay? You're going to pull it through like this. So now you have this pulled through, and you have this little loop right there. You see that? You're going to take your whole shenanigans that's hanging down on the other side, and you're going to pull it through. Now I'm going to keep it loose so I can take it back off, because this is obviously not the owl, but let's pretend that's the owl, right? And then all you're going to do in the end is, after you put both of them on, is feel free to measure and give it a little bit of a haircut. Snippy, 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 snip. Boop. And ta-da! You have your little ear. Hee hee. Mine is a little shorter on this one than the actual one. But it's cute, right? And obviously you want to pull really tight so it stays like that. And if you're worried about some child undoing it, or, you know, wear and tear kind of thing, I would recommend adding a dollop of some kind of glue here somewhere. Highly recommend using fabric glue or school glue that dries clear. Okay, kind of put a little bit around it so it stays stable, if that makes sense, because really this is not the most stable knot, but just add some dollop of glue. I have a knot on my tongue today. Glue on it so to make sure everything stays in place. Okay, gotta do my sound. Okay, are we good on the ear? It's adorable, isn't it? That's my cute little ear for the owl. Okay, let's go through all the animals together, okay? I'm going to zoom out just a tad so you can actually see them, okay? Let's go through it one by one. So we have the turtle right here, okay? I showed you how to make the turtle. We went through the the second circle, the second circle, and showed you how to do the spike stitches and the front loop, back loop situation, all that stuff, right? And we have the cute little legs all the way around that look like fortune cookies, and then we have our little head. I just talked to you about how to sew that on, and you're good to go, okay? Are there any questions about the turtle? Should be very straightforward. The bottom, of course, has nothing on there. It's very clear, and that's how the turtle looks like. Hello! Okay, turtle is good, right? Now, let's talk about the cow right here. So, obviously, you have some horns, which are adorable and cute and super easy to do. It's just, you know, a little bit of an increase and then just single crochet stitches. I sewed on the horn similar to what I talked about earlier with the turtle head. I didn't squeeze it together and sewed it on. I went around it, pretended it's a circle. I sewed it on in a circle, if that makes sense. A little bit over here. This is a little bit lower. It's not the same. Can you tell? It's a little bit further away, right? It's actually done in a circle. The sewn line is a circle, right? However, this I squeezed together. But before I did that, I added a little bit of, let's call it human makeup, okay? Blush. The reason I say blush, because there's also colors that are named blush, and I didn't want you to get confused. So human makeup, blush, right? The ones that you add on your cheeky cheeks, okay? So I kind of painted it on, and then I folded this together, and then I sewed it on, okay? So that's what I did here. We have the little eye patch right there, right? And be careful when you add these eyes, you have to squeeze hard. If you don't have a lot of strength in your hands, and I sure hope that you have some, strong man around, ask them to squeeze it together, okay? Because in the back, you have that circle part right there. You have to really squeeze it in to make sure it does not come undone. I also recommend, if you're worried about it coming undone, before you squeeze it on, add a little bit of glue into this shell part that holds tight everything, okay? That way it makes sense. I would even add hot glue into it to make sure, but you squeeze it immediately, otherwise it gets dry, right? And then you just squeeze it in there. Again, for the mouth or the snout, whatever, this is very similar to what I just told you on the owl. You make the oval. It's a little bit longer here in the center. Same idea though, and you go around it, and then you're going to sew it on again into this oval shape. I added a little tiny bit of stuffing on in the inside. I added the nostrils beforehand, so that way I didn't have to deal with it after, and it should be good to go, right? So that is the cow. Are there questions about the cow? Let me know. Hot glue is a great idea, Nana says. Yes, hot glue or What is it called? E6000 is another good glue. I don't think I have any around. I had some around. I had 2 bottles. I can't find them. I need to clean up my craft room. But E6000 is another one. It just takes a little bit longer to dry. Keep that in mind on the E6000, but that's another good one. Okay, so are there any questions about this? Should be good to go. By the way, there was a question this morning, and I want to point it out again, is some of you guys were saying, this is not the first time I got this question though, is, oh, I can't figure out which eyes you use. There are so many on Amazon. I get that. Guess what I did? I made it easy peasy for you. I need you to go to the materials section and it's highlighted. Literally, I added the links to the names of the materials I used. All you have to do is tap on it. It'll jump you over to the exact ones I used. Literally, okay? There's a few different eyes I used. You can see these ones are different from these ones. So I added links into the materials section so that way you don't have to search for them. You just have to tap and click, okay? Let's see. Twirler78 says, I use a thread spool centered around the eye back and push it onto the spool, snaps right in. That's a great idea. Fantastic idea. I need to try that. Have not tried that yet, but that's a great idea. I need to look where my spools are. Great idea. Let's see. I haven't made it that far yet, but does the cow have a tail? No, because I don't think there's a tail behind the head. You know what I mean? Because it's just a head. Unless your cow has a tail on their head, but you can totally add one if you like. I ain't stopping you. The same is true for the piggy. If you want to add a tail on it, go for it. I didn't do it because it's just a head. But I'm not stopping you. If you want to, go for it. Great idea. Make it cute and adorable, right? Okay, so let's go to the next one. The bee, okay? So the bee, obviously you have the wings up here. I didn't harden mine because obviously if you use the bag, you want to move it, you know, but you could harden it. Use some school glue and add it on there and then harden it before you sew it on. That way it's straight up, okay? If you don't mind it being a little bit wiggly, you don't have to add glue, right? And just leave it as is. And then all I did in the end is sewn it on. Yes, it moves, right? But wings do move, to be fair, right? And the eyes are different, as you can see. I just wanted, you know, these types of eyes. You can make other eyes. We have the, you know, the black little, let's call them a circle, right? At a certain area. I know some of you guys missed that part on the second one. It's fine. If you just made it all in yellow, that's fine. Anyways, I know this is the other thing where you can say, well, do you want a stinger in the back? If you want a stinger, you add a stinger. I didn't add a stinger. Okay, mine is a friendly bee. It kind of kept the stinger on the inside, right? It's a smiley bee. So, you know, if you want to add a stinger, you can add a stinger. Blair says, what eyes? I don't know which eyes I used for the bee. Let's see. Yes, there are 15 millimeter black eyes with white dots. There's a material section, Blair, and I need you to click on that, then you know exactly which ones I used, okay? But these are 15 millimeter eyes. Of that section, of that set that I bought, that's the 15 miller ones. Okay, so let's go to the next one. One of my favorites, but looks like not many of you guys loved it. I don't know why. I love this one. He's so cute. I mean, look at him. He's adorable. He's one of my favorites. Why did you guys not like the bear? He has a little bow tie. Isn't that cute? Anyways, so this is very similar to a circle, just done in rows instead of rounds, right? So these are really easy to make. Then we have the snout here, which is actually from a circle out. This is not an oval. Added the eyes, added the little bow tie because, oh my gosh, this bear is adorable. I don't know, it's one of my favorites. It has a little bit of polyfill on the inside. It's a cute bear, okay? It's one of my favorites. If you don't like it, that's fine. It's mine anyways. You make your own. Okay, anyways, it's super duper cute. You can give him different size, you know, different colors of a bow tie, but he's adorable. Okay, let's go to the next one. We have the kitty cat. I messed up with a little bit on the nose on the kitty cat, but it's fine. Okay, there's no stuffing inside the ears, by the way. The kitty cat's easy. You just make the ears, you add the eyes, you add, you know, the I almost said mustache. Yeah, and you added those. What is the name right now? Whiskers. There you go. It's similar to a mustache. Let's be clear, right? It's just a little longer. We have the nose, and then you just add the little mouth to it, and you're good to go on the kitty cat. They're super duper easy. Okay, then we have the panda bear. Let's move this guy to this side. Okay, the panda bear. So these eyes are a little bit smaller than the bear. If you see that, you can tell. It's the same style. It's the same package, by the way. I love these eyes. These are great amigurumi eyes, by the way. Anyways, if you don't have those eyes, that's fine. You can just make white circles, maybe a little black on it. That's fine. So these are, again, oval, similar to how we talked about it for the piggy, just obviously not 3D like. And all you have to do is kind of, sew it on, glue it on if you like, doesn't matter. Just make sure that the eyes go through all the way first and make sure that's nice and tight. You have to be strong on this one because it's 2 layers at the same time. Usually only wants 1. So really make sure you may have to add some glue on it, right? There is no stuffing in these ears either. There's no oval here. This is just a circle and made longer and then sewn on. I did sew this on as 1 line though, just to make sure that the bear's ears are a little rounded, if you can see. I know it's black. It's very hard to see, but it's kind of rounded, right? There's like it's bowl shaped. I don't know if you can tell. So that's why I added them together. Like I made it into a line, sewed it on. Again, you have a little cute nose, the mouth, obviously, the eyes, and then you're done with the panda bear. You could add more, black swatches somewhere. Same for the cow if you wanted to, but I feel like that's really, really cute. How do you stitch the mouth on the bee or the panda? That's a great question. Let me show you, okay? No worries. That's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking me this now versus later. I'm just going to use my little, pretend piggy that is turned into a half ladybug and a half owl for now. This is going to be piggy later. But anyways, this is my little swatch situation. So let me show you how I do this, okay? So first, you come from the back, okay? So pretend I just came from the back. There we go. I just came from the back. You got it, right? So what you're going to do, and this is this part right here. This is where I am right now, okay? Right here on the top. So what you're going to do is you come from the back, you go over down, right? And then what I like to do is go over. Now you can make this entire thing as one or you break it up, right? So you go down and then you go over a little bit. So this is where you're starting the mouth, right? Like so, okay, do you see that right here? Now you have 2 choices, okay? You can go in, out, and then in, out, or I'm going to show you another version, which would be going over to the exact same spot and then coming back out right here where you came from, okay? Can you see that? So there's 2 different ways to do the mouth. I'm showing you another way. This one would be the same way as you just did with the line, right? In, out, and ta-da. Here's another version if you want to do it. You come out over here, go in here, and now you are going to be above, just like the chain was made. Do you see that? Just like the chain. You go around it like this, and now you're going back into the same spot where you came from. I'm just going to go out over here, right? And then it's going to pull it down like that, right? And that is the mouth. Ta-da! And then you made your mouth, right? Are there any questions about that? Penny is saying you can make a hippo and an elephant. Maybe down the road I will add more animals to it. So far I have designed 22 of these. 22 different styles of these bags. Okay, I see a buffalo recommendation too. Maybe down the road. So for now I have 22. I have 10 fruits, I have 10 animals, and I have a snowman and a gingerbread man. In case you didn't know, I have those too. Okay, so let's see. I have a few more I haven't talked about yet. So we have the owl. So this is how my owl looks like. So you have the eyes right here, super cute. It's pretty much a circle. You just change colors every round and you do invisible slip stitches in between. Otherwise it's going to be jagged, right? So black, blue, white. Obviously you can also pick green if you like. Mine is blue, okay? Then you have the cute little nose right there in the center. You add your ears like I showed you earlier and you're done with the owl. Now the color changes over here are only done on one side, but you could do it on the other side as well, okay? It really doesn't matter. This one I happen to have on the back nothing, but you could totally do that as well. And you can do it on both sides if you wanted to, similar to the bee, right? Let's see. Okay, there was a couple. How do we get to the teddy bear? It's in the pattern, Tammy, right there. Use that link right there. It's also pinned on YouTube. You're on YouTube, so there's a black bar in the comment section. Tap that. There's the link right there. You can also scan it. All the patterns are written down now. Ray says, I have made all the pieces of my frog, just waiting on the input and how to put the face on together. We'll talk about the frog in just a second. I've also started the cat since I have some free time before part 3 on the written pattern dropped. Yay! I'm so happy. Okay, so let's talk about the froggy since you just mentioned it. Okay, so the froggy is actually the fastest one to make in my opinion because it doesn't have a lot of fancy stuff here, okay? So the mouth is pretty much the same way as I just talked about without the line in the center, right? So you kind of come out over here, go back in here, and then you pull it down, just like I just showed it to you, okay? That's how I made the mouth. Now, in terms of the eyes, there's no polyfill on the inside or anything, okay? You make 4 circles pretty much, but 2 of them have color changes in it. So you have white, black, and then you have 2 rounds of green. Then you're going to take 2 of the circles, one with the color change, one without the color change, and you're going to slip stitch them together into, let's call it a disc, okay? That's what you're doing. Then you're going to simply sew it on. Now, this is a little flappy because I wanted my eyes to be flappy. If you don't want it to be flappy, I recommend sewing it a little bit separate on the bottom, potentially adding a plastic canvas inside if you wanted to, but it may still make it a little flappy. I like my eyes flappy because, you know, that's how froggies are. Have you ever seen their eyes, how they open it like whoop, whoop? I don't know. That's kind of how they do it. And that's why I want them flappy. Plus, once you open your bag up, you know, you want the eyes to kind of go on the inside without making any problems on the bag itself. So yeah, that's how you do it on the eyes. Literally just sewed it on in a line right here. Very easy. Are there any more questions, Ray, on the froggy? Again, it's just the eyes and the mouth. Are you guys coming with more ideas? Oh my gosh, stop giving me influence on making more. Not right now. I do want more though. I do want more of these bags. These are so fun, okay? They're cute, Flappy, Lily says. I agree. Can you make it bigger to make the purse out of it? Maybe, I guess. Where would you, like oh, this also has a purse? Maybe. I don't know. You can do it if you like. I like it this way. Let's see. I saw those eyes on Amazon. Those are great. Oh, you're talking about these types of eyes? Yes. Oh, we haven't talked about the piggy yet. This is how my piggy looks like. Oink, oink. Okay, so all you have to do is add the eyes, add the ears. This is also rounded, just like the Panda Bear. Was it the Panda Bear? Yeah, the Panda Bear and the other bear also. So it's kind of rounded. There's no polyfill on the inside. All I did is fold it, like literally squish it together. So instead of leaving it open, squish it, and then pretty much sew it on the bottom, right? Or whatever you call bottom, top of the head, bottom of the ears, pretty much. Just sew it on and make sure. Here's what I do. I usually add the ears first, so that way I can align my eyes better. And then I added the snout at the very end. The snout also has some polyfill on the inside. I even added here an area where I went in the back loop only, as you can see. So that way it's a little bit more snouty snout and a little less rounded. But again, this is how it looks like. Super cute. If you wanted to, add your little tail on the back if you want. But again, this is the face of a piggy. It doesn't have a tail on the back. It doesn't have a body, if that makes sense. But that's how I did it, okay? I all designed these all by myself. Yes, I got inspiration from actual piggies and froggies. I looked at those in order to get inspired. And I looked at some of my previous patterns whenever I made an animal. And I looked at those. So those are where I get my inspiration from, my own patterns that I've done in the past. Okay, Michelle says, how do you keep the backs of the eyes from catching on the back? I currently haven't had any issues. Where's my ladybug? Oh, I didn't talk about the ladybug. Hang on. Hi, ladybug. Okay, so the ladybug, this is the ladybug, by the way. I forgot to talk about it. I know it's really dark because it's dark colors. So the line is here. You have the little dots. You can make more of them if you want. Mine has 6. You know, you guys know that ladybugs have different amounts. Some of them have none. The little cute face here in the front, it doesn't have any decreases over here. The head is done also sewn on in a circle, by the way. And obviously I added the eyes before I added the stuffing. Now, there is a question regarding will it get stuck? I haven't had any issues. Even when I added the polyfill here on the inside, it doesn't. It's all rounded. It doesn't get stuck or anything. This is really rounded. I haven't had any issues. But technically, if you have issues, I would add a little bit of hot glue on it. And that kind of makes this a little bit more flatter, if that makes sense, a little bit more rounded. But again, I haven't had any issues. I do recommend adding some glue to it, especially with wear and tear. It may pop up. This one for the Ladybug, it doesn't have that issue. And then all I have to do here in the end is tuck it in, right? So see, and then it's all tucked in. Some of it will hang out, right? Like this. It will just kind of look out. That's okay. It's a pouch after all, right? It's totally fine, okay? So you could, you know, add a little button here if you wanted to, a little snap, if you're worried about it coming undone. But I kind of like it voluminous like this, so totally fine. Linda says you could add a squeaker in the nose. I think that's a great idea. Go add a little squeaker. Squeak. Oh, here for the oink oink. Squeak, squeak. Yes, totally. That would be cool to add. Like, I should have done that. Oh, Linda, I should have done that. I have squeakers too. Don't I have them right here somewhere? Yes. Yes, I have a squeaker. If anyone needs a link for a squeaker, this is how mine looks like. These are little squeakers. So you could have added a little squeaker inside there if you wanted to. If someone wants a link of that, I can't share it right now on the live, but you can email me, and you can add a squeaker too if you wanted to. Let's see. Is the head open? Opens. Kathleen says, is the head on open side? I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, there is an open side. Yes, there's an open side. But where you want to add it, I mean, I personally, let me say it this way. Okay, if you look at it, all these animals, the neck of the animal is where the opening is. If that makes sense. The neck is where the opening is. Okay, or the back, if you want to call it that way. For the bee, it's just the bottom. All the other ones, it's the neck where it's open, right? Just the Ladybug is on the bottom. The turtle is also on the bottom. All the other ones is the neck, that's the open part, if that makes sense. Let's see. You can use lighter to burn the backs and flatten them. Yes, be careful on it, on the lighter, guys. Okay, this is acrylic yarn. Okay, for those who are not in TCC, I know some of you guys aren't. Let me remind you what happens when you use a lighter. Okay, so first of all, this is acrylic yarn. Okay, so what can happen when you use acrylic yarn and you melt it? Okay, acrylic yarn, let's all say it together. Acrylic yarn is plastic. It will melt. Now, yes, you can use a lighter for that. It can turn black and it can also melt other parts of it. You can burn yourself too. It's plastic. Please, please be careful if you are doing that. For cotton, it will not shrink together. Yes, for acrylic yarn, it's a good idea. It kind of shrinks it together and stuff. For wool, I think it also shrinks up a little bit. Cotton, it's just going to burn, right? So just be careful with lighters. I never will recommend that. It's just dangerous if you don't keep an eye on it. If you look for a second, if your kids do something, you might look somewhere else. Be careful on that, okay? Let's see. Was there another thing? I'm just checking. Karen says, I had to file the tip once because it had a pointy end. That can happen. Mine hasn't had that yet, luckily. But yes, it can happen. Beverly says, you got a dog attention with the squeaker. That's hilarious. Should I do it again? That's funny. Chrissy says her dog woke up too. How loud is your TV, you guys? That's hilarious. Yes, I agree. Lighters are dangerous. Super glue is dangerous too. Yes, you also have to be careful on super glue. E6000 is great. I use hot glue if I can. I don't touch it immediately, but yes, you can be careful. I love how Rosa summarizes. Safety first. Yes. Let's see. Can you pull the bag out of the Ladybug so we can see where the dots and the face are? Gloria says. Of course. Okay, so here is the Ladybug. You know what? I'm zooming out. Just a hint. Just a tiny bit. Okay. So Ladybug tucked inside. Now tuck it in. So now you can see where the ladybug is. Look how he's pointed. Hello. Okay, so the dots are in that center part. So in let's call it the first circle, right? Because you can see the first circle has the front loops left over. So you can see it's the first circle, right? So that's where it is. The head is just little hanging on the inside there, you can see. It's not going to bother you or anything. And then the bag is just hanging there, right? And then now you can use the bag. All the stuff about the animal is on the inside. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to be in there. And you just want to make sure that you're not getting that so dirty or anything, right? But otherwise, yes, this is how the bag looks like. And then that's it. Ta-da! Okay. I think Ashley meant the lighter on the back of the eyes. Even then, that's still plastic. Still be careful. Okay, always be careful, especially with anything hot. Be careful. Let's see. Everyone's dogs woke up with my squeaker. Well, I guess it sounds like some of you guys need the squeaker. Why don't you guys email me, and then I will send you guys the link for the squeaker if you guys want to add a squeaker. Okay, we talked about all the animals right now. So let me remind you of a couple of things. Okay, let's come back over here. You need to do this if you want to qualify for all the parts of the giveaway, okay? So let me remind you, you need to sign up if you haven't done so. I assume most of you guys have. That's why you're here, because you got an email reminder, right? But did you watch all the videos? Did you answer the question at the end? I'm going to pop up the question right now that you guys need to do for this video, okay? The question is coming up right now because I'm about to talk about it too. So did you watch all 3 videos? Did you answer the question? This is the question for part 3 you need to answer, okay? Whether it's in the live chat or in the replay chat. It doesn't matter. There's a comment section. You need to add the answer into it. And then you also need to finish at least one animal. I don't care which one. As long as there's no yarn hanging off and it looks like a finished product, you're good to go. Post it into the Facebook group called Crocheting with Nikki with that hashtag. It says LiveCalAUG25, okay? Use that hashtag. Post it in a Facebook group called Crocheting with Nikki. Okay, you have a link in your email. I put it in all the emails, so make sure you check that out. It's right there. I believe I even highlighted it in purple in the last email so that you know where it is. Okay, and the last one is you need to show up for the party, and that is my question. Are you going to show up for the party? Are you? So let's talk about why should you show up to the party? Couple of things, okay? Number one, of course, we have the winner giveaway. It's going to be towards the end of the video because we have other things to talk about beforehand that will literally surprise you. I have some surprises coming your way. Yes, I will surprise you with some stuff. So if you like surprises, you may want to show up for that, okay? But here's the thing. I will tell you this. I want you to think back to part 2. There was a question in part 2 at the very end. Let me remind you what I said. In part 2, I asked you what is your most important or your most favorite feature of this live cal. And guess what most of you said? 90% of you guys said it was because you were able to ask questions live, got instant answers, and had super fun time learning with the community at the same time. That was one or many other ways how you answered this, but that's kind of the summary of most of the answers. Now, if you love these live crochet alongs, and you want more, I will promise you, you can get more, but you have to show up to this party so I can tell you about it, okay? Because if you aren't, you don't know how you're going to get more of these live crochet alongs or simply live tutorials, okay? Plus patterns and all that stuff. So if this is something you love, if you had so much fun in this live crochet along and you want more and you love this community feeling, then you've got to show up for this party because there is so much to talk about, plus additional surprises that I haven't even talked about yet. So I will tell you all about that. Now, I will also say one thing, okay? Yes, the party will be recorded. Yes, if you are not showing up for the party, you can watch the replay and still know about it. But you still don't have a chance to win unless you show up for this part right there, okay? Now, if you did the first 3, you still have a chance to win, even if you don't show up for the party. But why not show up? Because we're all having fun at the same time. It would be so much better if you show up. I'm just saying, okay? I highly recommend you show up. especially because you have another 3 times where you have a chance to win, literally during the live. All you have to do is show up and answer a couple questions, 3 questions actually. I have 3 questions during the live, and I will literally grab a winner directly from the live chat, live right there. So if you want to have a chance to win right there, and even if you weren't part of the live crochet, if you didn't do the first 3, if you just show up for the party, that's all you gotta do. You still have a chance to win, which means everyone is invited. So even if you weren't part of the live crochet along, so tell your crochet besties to join us for the party. Tell them how much fun you had here during the live crochet along and say, hey, I know you may have missed this, but you gotta show up for the party because you have a chance to win just by showing up, okay? So if this is something you like, you may want to join us. Am I right? I have a nice picture that shows us this. Da-da! Come to the live crochet party and let's have fun together. Am I right? You all gonna have fun with us. Oh, we're gonna have a blast. I'm gonna tell you so much about how you can get more live crochet alongs, more live fun, more community with many, many surprises. You're gonna really feel like, oh, this is it. This is what I want. Look what Twirla says. I can't even show it off because of the question right here. Twirla says, party, party, party. Yes. Or prizes, prizes, prizes. Right? Am I right? Oh, we're going to have a fun time. So please show up for the party. We're going to have a blast. I see 105 people showing up for the 3rd part of this live crochet along. I am so proud of you. Okay, let's talk about it. I am so proud of you. You showed up. You watched the replay. Even if you watched them multiple times, even if you weren't here live and you just watched the replay, I am proud of you. You were part of this. Even if you just made 1 stitch, I am proud of you that you started. You were here. You somewhere, somewhat were part of this community and hopefully had fun. Okay, I hope that you feel like you were part of a family feeling. I hope that you feel like you were part of a family, kind of crochet family. You know, it feels like kind of like your secret little club kind of thing. And if you love that feeling, you better show up for the party. Oh my gosh, you have no idea what I have ready for you. Okay, Jean is saying, what time is this? Okay, guys, if you are in the US, do me one little favor. Okay, if I just ask you for one favor, I need you to learn the different time zones. Otherwise, you guys have Google, but I will tell you really quickly, okay? Otherwise, please calculate your time zone. I don't know all the time zones all in my head either, okay? But I can tell you 12 p.m. Pacific time is 1 p.m. Mountain, 2 p.m. Central, and 3 p.m. Eastern. It's literally 1 added hour on top until you go all the way over to the other side of the country, okay? So 12 p.m. Pacific time is the same as 1 p.m. Mountain, 2 p.m. Central, or 3 p.m. Eastern. If you're any other time zone, please calculate accordingly. Google is free and it allows you to do just that. I am so proud of you. You were here. Thank you guys for all being here. It means so much to me for you just showing up. I will see you guys all back here for the party at this time right here. I will send you email reminders. I'll see you guys all there, right? Until then, bye-bye.